The curtain's about to come down on the fourth Magic Weekend, the second to be held here in Edinburgh. It's St Helens against Hull Kingston Rovers, as Rovers aim to maintain their recent dominance over Saints. They're going for their fourth consecutive Super League win over them here today. That's the way the weekend is shaped up. 4 games yesterday, we've had 2 so far today, wins for Castleford and for Wigan. Now it's the turn of St Helens and Hull Kingston Rovers. And, St Helens cannot get above Warrington in the table on points difference unless they win this match by about 120 points, which, of course, is a total impossibility. Hull Kingston Rovers, though, can get above the Leeds Rhinos with a victory here. This is the way the two teams will line up. Wellens is the fullback for St Helens. It's Gardner, Flannery, young Tom Armstrong and young Jamie Foster. That's a teenage combination on that side of the three-quarter line, with Leon Price and Kyle Eastman getting back together again at halfback. The forwards, Graham, Roby and Hargreaves, Clough, Dixon and Pulatua. And the bench is occupied by Nick Fozzard, Kieran Cunningham, Scott Moore and Matty Ashurst, and the coach is Mick Potter. Now Rovers, Sean Briscoe at fullback, Peter Fox, Mike Ratu, there is no Chris Wellen, Jake Webster, who was sent off last week, he plays, Ben Cockayne, Chaz Ianson and Michael Dobson. Up front, Rhys Lovegrove, Scott Morell and Joel Clinton, Clint Newton and Jason Netherton, with Michael Vella at loose forward. There is still no Ben Galea for Rovers. Wheeldon, Cook, Fisher and young Liam Watts occupy the bench for the coach, Justin Morgan. Well, there are the Rovers. Enter Murrayfield seeking their 4th consecutive Super League win over the Saints, and in the process making it 4 wins from 4 from the Magic Weekend. After 7 Super League games with Hull Kingston Rovers, though, it's 4-3 in Rovers' favour. But this will be just like a cup tie, and when they last met in cup football, St Helens won 24-14 in the 2008 Challenge Cup quarter-final. Paul Wellens leading the men out today for St Helens, Michael Vella for Hull Kingston Rovers. Now, Hull KR last year also played in the final match of this weekend, and they rose to the occasion. They beat Warrington by 36 points to 28, having been 16-6 down at one stage. I hope that young man or woman has enjoyed everything he or she has seen this weekend. Not much of a view behind that mask, Steve-O.
It's a trend, but they're stayed behind for what should be a compelling context against 2 sides. Different opinions over the last couple of weeks in regards to St Helens really into top form. Hull Kingston Rovers, they're looking to get back to some sort of form. Phil Bentham is the man that will be in charge for this final game at the Magic Weekend. And let's hope that he gets both sides back the required 10 metres, because there are so many international stars out there.
Yes, Phil Bentham's had to wait a long time for his assignment. The kick-off from Dobson, Price is underneath it. The immaculate James Graham takes the ball forward on the first tackle. What a match James Graham had. He was man of the match in the victory against Leeds last week, and what a victory that was for St Helens, with all the youngsters in the side, and they took the champions on. And this fellow, Tony Pulatua, well, he just caused absolute mayhem up the middle for St Helens. Will he do the same again here in Edinburgh against Hull Kingston Rovers? Graham will take it forward again.
I think that'll be the tactics, and they've got them for offside. A little bit too eager there, the Rovers. But Mick Potter, the Saints coach, he knows that he has the power up front.
First penalty of the match, offside, Rovers. So St Helens get into Hull Kingston Rovers territory. There's a smile on the face of Mick Potter. Here goes Bryn Hargreaves for St Helens, the former Wigan prop forward, of course. And Roby, dummy half, starting the match today. Pulatua, good hands. Gets it away to Paul Clough. He makes a couple more metres forward to the 20-metre mark. Roby again, dummy half. Finds Eastman. Eastman with a stab kick behind the line, looking for Foster. Briscoe is along there.
Oh, he's lost it.
Oh, he has lost it.
This is a try to the ball by Paul Wellens.
Has he grounded the ball? I think he's probably grounded the ball. with his upper body, but Wellens thinks he might have scored, and Steve-O does as well.
Well, it did look, didn't it, I think, on first opinion. They're onside, that's what they're checking. The feet of the attackers in white shirts are behind the ball when it's kicked.
Well, Briscoe gets there first, there's no doubt about this. But where does it? It's in the field of play. He's lost it. This will be try time. Wellens has pinched one.
I think you might be right. I think you might be right.
It's in the field of play where he makes the error, and he doesn't get over the top. I don't think he's grounded that. I think he's lost full control, and Wellens surely has come up with a try.
Yeah. Steve-O, isn't it right that he only has to ground it with a portion of his upper body?
Yeah, his torso could ground the ball
on the line, absolutely. If his torso touches the ball there on the line, that's grounded.
Yeah, but it's a knock-on. It's a knock-on, so it's play on. Well, you can't have two options.
Well, if he's knocked on, or he's grounded the ball in goal, you can't go for the three options. What are you saying, the advantage to St.Helens?
Yeah, of course it is. This has got to be given.
Well, it's James Child who's the video referee.
He's lost control, he's knocked on.
You can't have advantage after he's grounded the ball.
Well, are you sure he's grounded it?
No, that's if you, in your opinion, you think he grounds it with his abdomen.
Yeah, but he's knocked on, so therefore this try should be given.
Well, James Child has had a long, hard look. And he agrees with you. The try is given to Paul Wellens. Back last week, he missed the previous 5. He loved the Magic Weekend. He got a hat-trick in the Cardiff Magic Weekend against Wigan. And 4 tries against the Bradford Bulls in February in the one match. And nothing since until that moment. But an awful start for Rovers.
But a beautiful kick, wasn't it, by Kyle Eastman? He knew exactly what was happening there, and it was a terrible mistake by Sean Briscoe. One fullback comes up with the error, and the other fullback makes him pay. Well weighted, it's going to be awkward. He should have had it, lost control. Wellens gets his hand on it. What a start for the Saints. Unbelievable stuff.
Well, this is an important moment for Jamie Foster, 19 years of age, 16 goals in his last 2 matches. He hasn't missed one yet. And he has now. First time he's not found the mark with the kicking. Jamie Foster, an awful start for Justin Morgan's men. No wonder Mick Potter had a smile on his face.
Well, it looks pretty serious there, Mick Potter, mainly due to the fact that he knows that they have an ability sometimes, Saints, to just slacken off after they scored a try, but this is an amazing error. And James Child, the video referee, had no doubt in his mind.
Well, St. Helens, they conceded a first-minute try to the Leeds Rhinos last week. They've scored a try in the first minute here this week at the Magic Weekend, and that's the quickest. That is the quickest try at the start of a game that we've seen. But that's a forward pass.
But I think they can play the game quicker than anybody else, and that's the challenge for Hull KR and all the other teams. When St. Helens play the game at the tempo they've set here to start this match, it's very hard for any team to cope with. Justin Morgan will be hoping for some more errors here like that one to give his team the ball.
Interesting enough, Phil, to see that Kyle Eastman, very early in the game, quite happy to ask a few questions of this Rovers defence.
Well, now, what can Rovers do? Here is Webster for them. Sent off for a high tackle on Steve Menzies at Odsal last week. Plays the ball, and he's injured there. He played the ball very gingerly to Scott Morrell. Dobson got the pass away. And Reece Lovegrove to his feet. There's Morrell. Here is Dobson. Short ball from him again.
A lot of responsibility on the shoulders of Scott Morrell, and there's Webster. He really is struggling at the moment. And the go-to player, of course, is Michael Dobson for the Rovers. They'll be hoping that he really clicks when he does. Normally the team goes very well indeed.
Here is Dobson. Just changed the direction of this attack.
It was a poor
down
pass.
Down the alley then.
It was a very poor pass. He had to reach back for it.
Neat little stab into the in-goal area by Chazay Anson, but watched, or he was aiming for the in-goal area, watched all the way by Paul Wellens.
Well, a chance to see who's the best English fullback in this match alone, and I suppose that will make it wider for the Super League. Sean Briscoe filled the role for England last year, but Paul Wellens showed his positioning there to take that kick, made it look easy.
There is Sean Briscoe, full-back in 12 of the 13 this year. And St. Helens get the penalty for a high shot. Was it Scott Morrell just a little high on James Graham? Yes, it was.
Yeah, he felt it as well, did the big fella Graham. A bit lazy going into the tackle. Well, the dominance from the St. Helens side very early in this game.
They beat St. Helens Rovers in a classic on March the 7th, 28-24. They achieved a Super League double over St. Helens the previous year, 2019 at the start of 2009, 26-10 last August. So recently, Rovers have had the wood over St. Helens in the Super League battles. Roby in at dummy half for Saints now here. Finds Leon Price down this left-hand channel. Price will take them on, get the pass away to Pulatua.
Well, they look in the mood, that is for sure. Offloads, going into the tackle, twisting.
This is Eastman, gets the pass away, a short ball. That's a great little run and wrestle away from Paul Clough. Roby again, scampering to the line. Back it comes to Price. Here is Eastman. Eastman goes through. As he dropped that ball, did Briscoe get underneath him? It's another decision for video referee James Child.
Well, isn't it amazing? Briscoe might have he's got that down.
I think they were also maybe would look at the obstruction on a player prior to this point.
No, he gets that down. There's no problem with that at all. This is the white shot that Phil's talking about. Back on the inside. No obstruction. No, he went for Price. There's no way in the world. He was the man carrying the football. This will be try time. And St. Helens are whipping the Rovers apart. No problem there, no contact. He's the man that's passed the ball. And you can see that it just takes the wrong option. It's as simple as that. Left a huge gap. And Mr. Eastman takes it with glee. Well, it's obviously tactics by Mick Potter, the St. Helens coach, because that's the third occasion that Kyle Eastman has gone in for it. What says James Child?
Try is given to Kyle Eastman. It's his 11th touchdown of 2010. Got a drop goal last week against Leeds. He was outstanding in that game without getting over for the try. But he's over for a try here early in the piece against Hull Kingston Rovers at Murrayfield in the Magic Weekend.
Roby, power, and the pass. Look how it came on the arc. They were just cut to pieces. You could see that Clint Newton had gone out of the line. Huge gap.
And this time, Foster makes sure that he kicks the goal. 50% success rate today. That's the 17th successful kick out of 18 attempts. But Kyle Eastman, is there a better player running around Super League this year?
Switch back on the inside, and then how he comes on the angle. He is so fast off the mark. Tremendous stuff.
And I don't think you can beat St. Helens in the first 20 minutes of a match, but you can lose a game. And if Hull Kingston Rovers aren't careful, this game will be over before they've even got going. Inside 10 minutes, they're 10 points down. But that's a great response here now. You've got to obviously show some fight in your tackle. And Hull KR do that here now with a big hit on Gardner. Can they stop St. Helens rolling forward with 50 metres in 5 drives as they've done so easily to start the match?
Roby thought about getting the ball away as he hit the deck under the tackle from Lovegrove. And Webster. That's Hargreaves. This is the last tackle. They're still inside their own half. That's a little moral battle won there by Rovers. For the first time, they've had to kick for territory. And Fox will run it back for Hull KR.
And look at the reception waiting him as well. It was a good kick and chase. Any ball that goes downfield that hits the ground, it gives you extra seconds to get to the man that's just receiving it.
Vela, so important for Rovers.
Well, he's got to lead by example. He's got to make sure that they just calm down slightly. 2 quick tries, pretty hard to get over, especially the Wellens try. One of their great players, Sean Briscoe, when he come up with an error like that, he does rock you.
Reece Lovegrove plays the ball on the last, just over halfway. Dobson with the kick, tries to angle it through the St. Helens defence. He does. It's a good kick, and Foster's got to run this back, and he gets away from Dobson first off, but then Lovegrove comes in and helps out with a tackle.
Looking at this pack that Michael Potter's picked, it's ominous for Hull KR. They've got so many big carriers that will leave Tony Pullatua free. When he's named a prop and has to do a lot of the work rate, it takes a bit away from his game. But now you've got players like James Graham, Bryn Hargreaves and Paul Clough to share that workload, and watch out for Pullatua later on in the game, especially if he moves and runs a little wider.
It's been a sensational start for St. Helens then. They lead 10-0. The kick was maybe an attempt at a 40-20, but Briscoe saw to it there was no chance of that. That's a good return by Sean Briscoe, and a quick play the ball as well. It was Cockayne who was at dummy half. And this now is Mike Ratu.
Good work by Briscoe, but it was a good tackle by Paul Clough. It had to be right round the ankles. Now then, this is where the Rovers just have to settle things down.
Well, they're looking for quick play the balls here, and this is a good run from Joel Clinton, the 2003 Kangaroo tourist from Australia. There's another quick play the ball, and here is Ianson, and he's trying to go through on his own. Hauled down on the last tackle, 8 metres away from the St. Helens line. It's with Dobson, fires the pass to Webster. That's good defence from St. Helens.
And good play by Rovers as well. They went for the power play, didn't bother with the kick. That lifted the spirits not only the side, but their coach Justin Morgan.
Bit of a smack on the back of the head there for Andrew Dixon. Here goes Graham again for the Saints.
You know, there are times when this James Graham, you look out on the field and you think, is there more than two of them? I mean, he's just everywhere, isn't he?
Yes, he's in outstanding form at the moment. Roby to Leon Price. Didn't play last week, Price. Flannery.
And that's another great advantage that Mick Potter has. Okay, they have a few problems in that centre position, but the big fella, Chris Flannery, is certainly settled into it very well. He was tremendous against Leeds.
Hold Rovers.
Last tackle for St. Helens. Eastman hammers the ball in between Fox and Briscoe. Fox picks it up, but importantly, the ball found the grass as far as Eastman was concerned. Just gave St. Helens another second or two to get going with the chase. Netherton receiving treatment on the run. Meanwhile, here is Ben Cockayne for Hull KR. Gets as far as James Graham.
Hold Saints. Go to.
Now, Clint Newton.
Third.
Well, they've come off the bus at last, haven't they, Rovers? They're up to speed now.
Yeah, and it's been good work in the forwards as well, especially from Newton.
Move. Hold. Go for.
Scott Morrell. Looks for the runner. It's Clinton again. He played in each of the last 10, and he was a teammate of Tony Pullatua, by the way, in his Penrith days.
Great tackle by Roby.
Was a good tackle by Roby. Didn't get to get the quick play the ball in Hull KR, as they have been doing. The chip over the top is fielded by Wellens.
It's got to be a little bit better than that to fool this fella, Paul Wellens. His positions play is one of the best there is, and it's another problem for the Hull KR player down. It looks as though, is it Jake Webster?
Again,
yeah.
Yes.
Oh, he's very groggy indeed.
He's been in the wars a bit in the opening 12 minutes here of the final game of the Magic Weekend.
Well, Mick Potter will get the message out. Let's pinpoint him. They've gone the other way, though. And he doesn't know where he is. I'm not so sure. They're coming this way now.
Price feigned to go left. They got him down though on the last tackle. Roby goes right, and Eastman drills the kick again. All along the ground, it bounces into the arms of Briscoe, but here come the chasers. Tom Armstrong and Jamie Foster. That was Ianson. This is Fox.
Well, St. Helens start is as close to perfect as you can see, and there's Jake Webster. He's not right. They're still taking a bit of a gamble with him, but they are in possession. Maybe can just scramble the brain.
You're right, Steve. A player they can ill afford to lose. He offers them a bit of strike out wide. He can pose some problems for this St. Helens defence. They'll need to keep him on the field.
Need to keep this man out there as long as they can as well. Mick Vella. Last tackle for Hull KR. Morrell will just drift the kick over the top. Wellens is after that, but it was the right side of the corner flag. And who was it yesterday was mentioned? It was you, Brian, wasn't it? Mentioning the fact that the international board thinking of doing away with these corner posts.
Oh, I think it's ridiculous,
especially
when you see players try and score tries and reach around the corner flags. I just think there's many other things they need to look at in our game. Corner flags is not one of them.
Well, I agree with you, Brian. I just can't understand why anybody has decided to say we'll do without them.
Brian has the international contract for supplying corner flags as well worldwide at the moment as well. That's influencing his decision.
I think the idea is, anyway, just a minute, here's Roby on a little half break for St. Helens, still going. I think the idea of the International Federation is the corner posts stay there, but they don't form part of the touch and goal line, which is what they do now.
Hold.
Take that idea and box it, and burn the box, and then bury the ashes.
Well, we'll give Richard Lewis your opinions, and he can take them with him to the meeting when it is in about the next week or 10 days.
I've got plenty more.
This is Wellens again for St. Helens. We'll maybe discuss all that on boot and all. This is Roby. That's a good ball to Price, and a little feint again from Price. And they're allowing him to run the game a bit here. This is Tom Armstrong. Oh, Webster is not right. There's no question of that. Oh, and the pass from Armstrong came off the knee of Wellens, and Briscoe to the rescue for Rovers.
Well, I think the Rovers have done remarkably well since conceding that second try, Eddie. They've taken the game to St. Helens. They've matched them physically. They're asking questions. But again, Saints now will push again, and this is the hard part. But they've had a very good 6 to 7 minute period, Hull KR. They've worked their way into the game, even though they don't have anything to show for it.
Lovegrove was the man in support there for Clinton, and he managed to smuggle it away to Scott Morrell.
He's been busy as well as a hooker, Morrell, and that's what they need. Justin Morgan realises that he's got to take the responsibility off this halfback. Michael Dobson has really got to try to get the machine working.
Dobson finds Vella. Vella with a solid run, but halted on the last. That was Morrell once more. Here's Dobson. Dobson angled kick to the in-goal area. No real hurry from St. Helens to get to that. Oh, how about that? What footwork is this? Tremendous stuff from Andrew Dixon.
Well, that was unbelievable. Big second row. I looked as though he'd just say, oh, I'm quite happy to run it over the dead in-goal area. No, he just said, watch this for footwork. And it was tremendous.
Justin Morgan will be disappointed with the lack of the chase there.
He's playing them on his own, one of the Michael Dobson. Absolutely. It was his kick and his chase. By the time the rest of the troops got there, it was too late.
Well, a horror start, 6 minutes, and St. Helens racing to a 10-point lead. For the last 10 minutes, it's been a contest, and St. Helens are having a bit of more difficulty getting past this Hull Kingston Rovers defensive line.
And I must say that the Rovers forwards have worked overtime, but how much energy is it taking from them? Will it affect them late in the game? Look at that chase. That is superb.
Ben Cockayne running the ball at the chasing St. Helens defenders. Here now is Peter Fox.
That's better.
Hold, Saints. Go on the mark, Peter.
Briscoe.
Surrender!
The one thing that will be pleasing Justin Morgan, apart from the scoreboard, of course, is the way that they're doing everything at pace, doing it at speed. They're getting over the advantage line, getting into good positions. But the final option with a kick is not being rewarded at the moment. Oh, it's easy meat for Wellens, that.
And he just steps away from the despairing dive of Janssen. And he keeps on going, Wellens, doesn't he?
Move, back up, hold, go, one.
This Hull KR side, they've had some tremendous wins this season. You think back, I think it was Easter Monday when they beat Warrington at Hull KR, one of the form teams in Warrington. And then they go out recently and lose so badly to Bradford. It's a level of consistency I think they still need to try and find in Super League.
Yeah, the point you make is well made. They have been erratic this year, but those wins you're talking about, Warrington 36-16, Quinns 52-12, 17-10 at Headingley, first win at Leeds in 25 years.
Outstanding results.
And then they beat St. Helens. They can play, but so can this lot. This is
Oh, he should have
Armstrong.
passed. He had Jamie Foster out on the left-hand side, and Mick Potter is furious.
Roby and Eastman slides the kick in. The chase is on. Dobson to the rescue. And Chris Flannery was seeing to it that Michael Dobson was going nowhere but over the dead ball line. Goal line dropout coming up.
Well, they'll get the return, but this should have been a try. Look at that. Tom Armstrong right the way through. He should have passed on the left-hand side. Jamie Foster's furious. This is a kick through. Good positioning by Briscoe, but good work by the big fella Chris Flannery.
More problems for Hull Kingston Rovers because Clint Newton is in a spot of trouble.
I think hamstring there.
Well, it certainly looks it, doesn't it?
I think it's a goal line dropout hamstring.
Yeah, he'll be another one. That, you know, he'll be a loss. He's a bit of strike running out wide as well.
He'll be up.
Well, a good shot of Kyle Eastman. He's running the show at the moment, and it must be pleasing for the coach, Mick Potter.
There's a problem, obviously, with the hamstring, or is it a touch of cramp? It's a bit early for that, I suppose.
The goal line dropout hamstring, get it?
They've got the thumb up, yeah.
It is.
Well, Clint Newton is running
Oh,
a
he's
little
limping.
bit labouredly.
He does that well. I've watched it on loads of games. Good pass.
Graham to Foster. Fox and Webster deal with the threat for the time being.
Well, we saw our Saints were adventurous against Leeds, and they've certainly come out firing, and they want to keep this ball alive.
Roby waits at dummy half for St. Helens again. It's with Eastman now. Eastman fires the pass. Price tries to step away from Dobson. Nearly does. They've got a man on the overlap wide. Flannery gets it to Gardner. Gardner cuts inside. Oh, he thought about getting the ball down on a double movement.
Stay goal line. Goal free.
Flannery at dummy half, looping pass to Leon Price. Then the ball to Eastman. Eastman then only finds the turf, and a good job that Tom Armstrong was alert to that. Dixon was the dummy half. Graham, short ball to Roby.
5. Move. Go.
Price to the air, looking for Foster. Ball has been knocked back. This could be a try here for Armstrong.
Last tackle.
Certainly looks that way, Eddie.
Just take the ball. Works not back.
I thought that perhaps had gone for the wrong option. Little doubt in the mind of Phil Bentham that it could be a try. That's why he's gone upstairs to James Child. They're onside. No problem with that whatsoever. Here is the leap. Now then, does Foster touch it first? I don't think so. It looks like a Rover's hand has got to it there, and then Foster flicks this back. The ball is going backwards. It comes off the leg of Foster, and I think you'll find that Armstrong says thank you very much indeed. James Child just wants to make sure, yeah. It's an error from Fox, and that is an easy try.
Well, Tom Armstrong hopes. He played and scored against Harlequins in the 44-24 win. He has played and scored here at Murrayfield in the Magic Weekend. Tom Armstrong.
Well, he had a chance to present one for Foster a few minutes ago. Foster's returned the favour.
They're running hot at the Saints, that is for sure. They mean business. They have set their stall out very well. What about the one-arm pick-up there by Leon Price? Such a wonderful opportunity, says Leon Price. Sometimes you see when he can go to sleep, at other times, but when he's on song, and he certainly was then, it was a tremendous pick-up on the run into the dummy half position. The Rovers didn't realise what was happening, and there is the man that's got the try. Bit of a gift, but he put himself in the right position.
Well, they're giving Jamie Foster the devil's own job, aren't they, with these conversions? This is another one tight to the touchline, and he's hooked that the wrong side this time. So 14-0. Armstrong, the latest try scorer for St. Helens. A year ago in this fixture, they lost 38-18 to Wigan.
All right, from my point of view.
Beautiful kick over into the corner, and they did well. Foster put him under a lot of pressure. Peter Fox come up with the error, and Armstrong takes it.
Hulkington Rovers restart then. Foster is underneath the kickoff.
And one of the dangers you face when you play St. Helens are the scoring surges that they can make. Blast, blast, 2 tries on the board in no time, and then you think you've got yourself back into the game. You're holding, going toe-to-toe with them. When they score, this is when they're most dangerous, the next 6 tackles.
Ball's come free, and it went backwards, says Phil Bentham, so St. Helens retain possession. Spot of blood flowing. Jamie Foster will have to leave and have that attended to, leave the field. A bit of a clash of heads with Chazai Anson.
But look how easy that Saints are getting over the advantage line, quick play the ball.
Leon Price will hoist the kick here, and Price will kick and chase it himself. Oh, well taken by Briscoe. And
beautiful execution, wasn't it?
He's within the 10 when he caught the ball. Doesn't matter where you are. He's within the 10.
This will be a big help for Hull KR. You got to think how they're going to work their way back into this game.
well, Phil Bentham has
he's
given
saying that Paul
offside here.
Wellens, or one of the
offside.
St. Helens players, was within the 10 when Briscoe caught the ball.
But doesn't Leon Price
Leon
run
Price
them
puts them
onside?
all on side. Well, that's baffled. That has just baffled me completely, because Price, and if you run in front of all your players, then they are onside. Not that the Rovers will be worrying about that. They really need good ground, good field position.
Here's Dobson, gets it wide to Fox. And
that
Peter
doesn't
Fox
help.
just lets it go. Unintentionally, of course, the England international winger.
Well, the idea was good. It was a good call by Dobson. Came from the open side to the blind, trying to catch out St. Helens, and they obviously realised that they've lost Foster.
It's one of the stats that nobody measures in rugby either, Code. Passing accuracy. If the ball isn't where the man needs it, then all of the other stats are irrelevant, because the opportunity has completely been wasted there now.
This is Matty Ashurst, who's come onto the field in place of Foster.
And they're thrown on the big fella, Kieran Cunningham. There he is.
Yes, St. Helens' secret weapon for so many years. Kieran Cunningham. This is the 480th match for his only club, and this is Eastman.
Well, surely that was a forward pass. It certainly looked it. They've had the rub of the green there, Saints.
Came off a Rovers player, I think. Here's Pulatua, gets the ball away to Clough, and Clough gets away from the defenders, and Clough gets over the line. Has he got the ball down? He claims that he has. It's another decision for referee in the video box, James Child, to have a look at. There was nothing that Phil Bentham could do about that. He was completely unsighted. There was a right conglomeration of players on the ground, but immediately Clough said that he had touched this down. He said, "I got it down, sir."
Seems pretty confident. Great upper body strength. And we'll see if he did. Wheeldon's got the arm underneath. Will we see from this angle? Will we see? Yes.
The fourth time that James Child has been called upon in the opening 24 minutes.
All he had to do is it hits terra firma.
Try.
And that's TRY for mine.
I'm with you, Steve-O. You're rarely wrong. I'm going with you from now on.
The try is given.
I wish.
Well, Paul Clough, 6th start in a row for him. He's becoming a really impressive member of this St. Helens squad. Over 100 appearances now, and he gets the 4th St. Helens try, and each and every one of them have been given on the nod of video referee James Child.
Take nothing away from the way that Kyle Eastman really took it on. I thought there might have been a forward pass on that, but Phil Bentham said he was okay, and this is a great effort. You talk about upper body strength. That's the one there. Oh yeah, it was touched by Vella. Boy, your eyes are better than mine, Eddie. You said it might have touched a Rovers player. They should have had him. They really should have put this guy down, and they didn't. Justin Morgan will be furious about that. And again, the ability for St. Helens to utilise the big fellas, quick play the ball on the run. They're running hot. All it has to do is to do that.
That was the moment when the try was scored. Foster's off the field, so it's Kyle Eastman with the kicking responsibility for the time being, and he obliges with the 20th point that St. Helens have scored without reply.
Normally you'd back those Hull KR defenders to stop, and what it was is they were retreating. They've got Tony Pulatua coming at them. They can't get their line set. Difficult man to put down or even stop, and he offloads to Clough against the fragmented, retreating defence. It's a bit too hard to stop.
I must say as well, Eddie, is the fact that Mick Potter has done the right thing. You know, he started with James Roby. Roby really has had a good 20 minutes out there. And then when you can bring on someone with the power and the strength, like Kieran Cunningham, it's not easy for the opposition.
Second, move!
26 minutes gone, 20 points.
Not square.
St. Helens. Oh, well, how on earth did Roby hang on to that?
Three.
Well,
Did it hit a Hulkingston Rovers player on the way back into Roby's grasp?
I'm not right sure. He got to it anyway. It would have been
tremendous.
classified as a knock-on if it had.
Exactly, it's tremendous skill from Roby. 1, 2,
Once
3,
I've got it,
4,
no, I've got it.
5.
Yeah, great stuff.
Here's Price.
Boy, is he in the mood. He's looking for work, controlling things out wide.
Move!
Well, he missed the big win against Leeds last week. Back here this week, Eastman with a high, up and under, straight up in the air. Well claimed. Very well claimed by Ben Cook.
Great take.
Well, the Hulkingston Rovers coach, Justin Morgan, knows he has to try something here now, 20 points to 0 down. A triple substitution is just about to be made by the Rovers.
Big
Three
problems.
fresh faces coming on.
Big problem for Kyle Eastman in back play. The St. Helens star is limping across there onto that far side. He picked up a knock on that high kick. There he is, in a lot of trouble.
And that's where Hulkingston Rovers are going, down that side.
10.
And here is a penalty for them, for Rovers, for offside.
Never made the 10.
Well, 20-0, are St. Helens going to make it third time lucky on this ground. They lost a cup final here. They lost in in the Magic Weekend, rather, last year to Wigan. But they're 20-0 up here against Hulkingston Rovers after 27.5 minutes play.
Well, Saints are going to risk keeping him out there, Kyle Eastman. But he's not 100%, that is for sure. Surely they'll work the blind side eventually.
Doing his best to run the injury off. Here is Lovegrove, and he's gone without the ball. And here comes St. Helens in the shape of Paul Wellens.
Move, Ben!
He should have taken that. It wasn't a difficult pass.
First!
And you could see the shoulders just drop. And the way that St. Helens are so quick and smart, any loose ball. Looks as though they got the message out that Eastman is going to stay out there.
That's a great ball from Cunningham, just a short pass.
Move!
Cunningham wants to get on with it quickly. Comes down the short side again with Graham.
4. Move!
Cunningham just walks into the dummy half position again. Now it's with Price. He finds Eastman. Eastman then gives it wide. That's good defence.
Good
Excellent
work by
defence from
Ratu,
Ratu.
yeah. Got right into it, but look how quick he yet again. He's bossing the show, this fella. He might have been injured a few moments ago, but he put himself in a good position on the blind side. Give it to me, give it to me. Boy, the combination, halfback, Leon Price, Kyle Eastman.
Amazing the difference 12 months makes, because although he's still limping in this match here, 12 months ago, Kyle Eastman was a substitute here against Wigan. And this season, he's running the show in the last match of the Magic Weekend. And remember, he got a personal best 24 points on Easter Monday against Castleford this year. Only 20 years of age, pipped to the Young Player of the Year award last year by Wigan's Sam Tompkins. He's got to be a runner for that, if not the Man of Steel trophy come the end of the season, if he keeps this sort of form up.
I have to agree, Eddie. He could finish it with both, couldn't he, when you think about it? He really has been in superb form. I thought his display last week against Leeds was outstanding, and he's carried on from there on in today.
Well, Justin Morgan has made the 3 changes all at once, as you saw going through the bottom of your screen not long ago. He's trying to mix things up. He's trying to stem the tide here against this rampant St. Helens team.
Well, he's done it so often, hasn't he? You know, to throw on Ben Fisher, had a little bit more steadiness at the play the ball area. He's an eager player, this Fisher, and there he is, getting himself involved in the defence.
Hold. Wait.
The thing is, St. Helens would have been sitting in the hotel room for the past 24 hours or so since they came up here to Edinburgh. They'll have seen Leeds Rhinos win against Wakefield. They'll have seen Warrington demolish Salford. They'll have seen Wigan, of course, in a match immediately before this, beat Huddersfield to reclaim top spot, and they want to make their own mark on this festival of rugby league.
Great work from Robin. Look at that quick play of the ball.
Look at Cunningham.
He picked out 4 players that had their backs turned to the Saints.
Hold. Hold. Go on, Scott.
Price to Eastman again. Gives it then to Roby, who tries to skip out of trouble. Gives it back to Eastman. Eastman then gives it to Andrew Dixon.
Move! Back up, back up. Go, come on, Liam.
Last tackle here.
On 5.
Price, again, a little kick through, but Briscoe deals with the threat this time.
Good position there by the English fullback, Sean Briscoe. It had to be as well.
We've seen Hull KR try and speed this game up at times. St. Helens are well able to deal with it. When the flip side happens and St. Helens speed it up, I just think it's too quick for this Hull KR team. Kieran Cunningham's jumping out, attacking a retreating defence, and I think they're going to get results out of it.
Nick Fossard's out there. He had last season, of course, at Hull Kingston Rovers, where he is making the tackle there. Back at the Saints for a second spell. He's made 3 tackles on the run there, Nick Fossard.
Great defence as well. You can see that on the last, they haven't got anywhere near the halfway line. They're going for broke.
They're running it. Ratu with a dink over the top. Oh, that's easy for Gardner. Flannery is at dummy half for St. Helens this time.
But when you're 20 points down so early in the game, when you try to just have a little chip over the top, what you need is to try to get it in the corner, just camp down, try to force the error. I'm afraid they're all at sea at the moment, the Rovers.
Fossard asking Phil Benton for the penalty, wasn't forthcoming. Graham.
4, move.
Cunningham again, in at dummy half. Finds Eastman. Eastman then to Price. Price then to Wellens. They've got men on the overlap wide. Flannery, and Flannery has got Gardner. He won't need him. Flannery touches down for St. Helens. Briscoe got to him, but just didn't have the strength to keep Chris Flannery out. Travelling at full speed ahead, the Australian. 3 tries in his last 2 appearances coming into Murrayfield. It's his 75th appearance for St. Helens. He made his debut midway through 2007, and he's been operating as a makeshift centre over the past few weeks because of the likes of Matt Gidley being out.
Well, it's one thing having to get the big forwards coming at you down the middle, but when you start getting it out wide, and that's a beautiful link from the fullback for Wellens. He never even looked to do anything other than say, my weight, my strength will get me over the line. You could have built a brick wall and this guy would have gone straight through it. Look at this, boom, get out of the way. Try time.
I thought that was a very brave effort from Sean Briscoe. He achieved very little here. I don't know if it's quite warm enough for that, but St. Bernard's happy.
After a pass.
A grass skirt in these temperatures. Steve-O's got his woolly hat on and gloves. Clarkie's got his thermal underwear on, and so has Brian Carney. It's really chilly, but these, I suppose, they could be locals. They could be people who've come from Scotland. They know what the weather's like.
I think they were selling some drinks as well around the stadium, which might help warm you up a little bit.
I'm looking out for a bloke called Jeff Gidley. Matt Gidley's father flew over to come and see him play. Matt obviously out injured, but I believe Jeff Gidley is either back home in St. Helens watching the game or he's up here.
Look how Wellens puts himself into that position where there's a gap, sucked through the hole. You could see Mike Ratu had gone in as well, and it was just no contest.
Chris Flannery, 29 years of age, played 10 times for Queensland, but he never pulled on the green and gold.
He's got one of the ingredients, though, Eddie, that St. Helens look, I think, when they bring players to the club: speed. Because they want to play the game quickly. They want fast players to be able to play at that speed. And Chris Flannery, although a back row, is quick enough to do a great job playing out wide in the centres.
Phil, Eddie made a great point in as much that Saints would have been in the hotel watching yesterday. Do you think that the way that Warrington threw down the gauntlet, because they were really red hot, weren't they, the Wolves?
Well, I think St. Helens might be benefiting this season from the fact that everybody's written them off. They lost in the last 3 grand finals, and all of a sudden there's no pressure on them, but they're playing fantastically well. That's play on.
It is play on, and Wellens, or was he taken out?
It's a penalty. It's a penalty.
It is a penalty.
Oh, Cockayne will get a bit of a talking to as well. He's thrown the ball away in sheer frustration.
It's like the goalkeeper taking him out here, Eddie, as he goes to goal.
Sending off the last man.
Yeah.
Well, it should have been a red card in football, wouldn't it, in the Premier League? Last man, scoring opportunity. Anyway, St. Helens have the penalty, and here goes Fossard. Cunningham again, look at him, scheming, watching, looking both ways. Graham back to Eastman, a juggle, but he keeps hold of it. Price, a little untidily, finds its way to Armstrong.
Well, he was looking for the second phase there. A little short pass from Leon Price. It just didn't come.
This is Wellens.
Goal 3.
And Cunningham gets the ball away to Fozzard.
Did well to hang on to that. Will we see a special from Kieran on his own?
No, it comes out to Leon Price. Oh, brilliant pass round the corner to Roby. Outstanding try. Outstanding stuff from St. Helens. What about the pass from Price? He just stood the defender up, whipped it out. Oh.
He's on his game, you're right, Eddie. Leon Price is on his game tonight.
Tremendous. Roby with the try. 200th game of James Roby's career, and 2 tries in each of his last 3 matches for Roby, and in from the start here tonight.
Unstoppable.
But watch this again. Look at this. Oh.
And it came about by doing the step, committing the defence. Step. You see how he made Michael Dobson make the option. I've got to go for it as a tackler. And when he went low, he just offloaded. Roby says, thank you very much indeed.
The 6th St. Helens try, the 6th different St. Helens try scorer.
Brilliant. You're right, Eddie. Nothing short of brilliant.
Here's Eastman then to try and add the extras, and this to make it 30 points to 0. 30 points to 0 it is. As you say, they were written off at the start of the season when they lost to Hull, weren't they, in the fog at Knowsley Road? Boy, watch this again. It's worth the admission money alone. Oh, that's the pass of the weekend for me.
He's a big man with fast feet and soft hands, and if you combine those 3 things together, then you have players running in the supporting holes. You've got a great recipe for more points.
And it doesn't have to be a long pass, Phil, to when you think about the quality of it. I go back, my mind goes back there, Brian, in regards to, remember Howell, the Harlequins game, that little inside pass to Luke Dawn, that was superb.
That was phenomenal.
And that was equal to it.
Absolutely. Howell, he mixed up his passing beautifully in that game. Leon Price, when he wants to and he injects himself into a game, he can speed the game up. You see him get into dummy half, and when he's up for it, he's one of the best players there is in Super League.
There should be alarm bells ringing for Hull Kingston Rovers, because yesterday Warrington led at half-time against Salford by 38 points to 12, but this, margin-wise, 30 points to 0 as we approach half-time, is the widest margin so far, and we all know what happened in the second half against Salford yesterday. Look at that ball from Flannery. Well, it's every trick in the book here from St. Helens.
Yeah, he's got a few tricks up his sleeve, Chris Flannery. He's good with the ball in his hands, not just a runner out wide. He's a ranger as well.
Here's Leon Price. They can't even get hold of Leon Price, and he just hacks the kick forward. St. Helens players ahead of the ball, cannot chase it. Got to give Sean Briscoe 10 metres. Then the referee says when he's made the 10 metres forward, play on.
One, move!
Last minute of this first half. A masterclass from St. Helens.
It is. It'll be interesting to see what we get in this second half, Eddie. How ruthless are St. Helens going to be? I've no doubt that Justin Morgan is going to give set a rocket off underneath his players, and you'd hope that they'll respond. What sort of a performance are we going to see from St. Helens? They can really put Hull KR to the sword today if they want.
Clinton goes down on the halfway line. There is Justin Morgan hid behind the monitor. It hasn't made pretty viewing for him here this afternoon, this evening. He's the youngest, yet longest serving coach in Super League at 34. He's been in charge of Rovers since 2005, and he's there at least until the end of 2012.
And done a great job since he's brought them up from the division below.
He's a great job.
Yep, he's really established them as a Super League club, which so many other teams have failed to do when they get promoted.
The thing is, and the trouble for Justin and Rovers today with this at the moment, trailing 30-0, is that the aspirations are so much greater at this particular stage than they were, say, 2 or 3 years ago. Well, in a masterclass from James Roby and St. Helens, and Mick Potter will be absolutely delighted. It started in the first minute, it continued right the way through that first half. 6 different try scorers, some of them absolutely out of the top draw. 30 points to 0, and no wonder James Graham has got a smile on his face. Clint Newton having a word in his ear. I'm sure it wasn't a joke.